because this brings us to City Hall, which is a fascinating and beautiful building.
Beautiful building.
On two sides, we'll later walk through the Breestraat, the Broadway of Leiden, to see the other side. But I mean, we have the sun in our eyes. But can you tell us a bit about Leiden City Hall? I think there's some constructions going on at the moment, but
Yeah, the City Hall itself dates from the end of the 1595. So it's a rather old town hall. And it was already there when the Pilgrims came to Leiden. There has been a big fire in 1929.
Yeah.
And that is why the other side, or this side of the town hall, looks a little bit similar.
yeah,
But the nicest part is the front part of the town hall. Now, during the time that the Pilgrims were in Leiden, there was a big religious dispute going on.
yes,
And there is an instart which shows us a barricade, which was called the Arminiaanse Schans,
yeah,
the Armenian barricade.
yes,
The dispute that was going on was a dispute between two professors in theology, Gomarus and Arminius, a strict Protestant professor and a more moderate Protestant professor. They quarreled with each other.
yeah.
Some of the Pilgrims, I think it was William Brewster, who also got involved.
John
or
Robertson
followed.
partook in the debate.
was
I
John
know.
Robinson,
John Robinson,
right.
yes, because the debate was about predestination. I
Right,
think.
it was, yeah. And, well, it was actually a national thing going on, but the center of it was here in Leiden. So they had to barricade the town hall.
A bit like they're doing now. I
Right.
didn't know this, but apparently it's under construction. But this is how they barricaded it. They did this especially for us to make our point.
Especially today.
But it began as a religious debate, but it really, I mean, it really went into this almost like a little civil war,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, it was, well, it went on on national niveau between Prince Maurice and Oldenbarneveld, but that was in The Hague. And in Leiden, it was because of these professors that you could say that, well, it really was the center where it took place.
Yeah.
The town hall still looks the same, the front of the town hall. The street has changed a little bit.
It looks
As you said, it's
quite
called-
different now.
Yeah,
This
it
is
looks
a
like-
very interesting spot, is it not?
it is. It's called the Blauwe Steen, the Blue Stone.
Blue Stone.
And originally it divided the town in 4 quarters.
Yeah.
And it was also the place where executions took place. And later on it went to the Graafsteen.
Theo
Yeah.
is not here and I can't reach him.
Okay.
So what we can
We have a first no-show.
yeah, yeah. What we can do now is you've seen the digital reconstruction of the Breestraat, right?
Yes.
And so we can see Theo later on at the Valide Bagijnkerk.
Sure, then he can
Yeah, so we
tell
can
us a bit.
show. Yeah.
But
so
it will be nice now to show our guests the
Sure.
reconstruction.
Yeah, we
That's
will.
where you go.
Yeah. So maybe you can tell something about the Breestraat, and I will try to ring Theo again. Then when we are at the Valide Bagijnkerk, so he will be there.
Well, maybe it's good to ask you about.
Give it to you. Oh,
Oh,
almost crushed.
try to choose between persons under a bus or having a virus. This is what you get with live TV, people.
So I'm going to leave this up to you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Talk about the Breestraat. I'll do the inserts and.
Yeah. So Breestraat, this is basically the vein. Could you say the main vein of the town?
It's the oldest street of Leiden.
All the streets, yeah.
And as you can see later on, we will go a little bit down into these alleys.
Yeah.
This is a higher part. It was constructed as a dike to protect people against the water when it rose, the level of the water of the Rhine. Actually, this already was a road when the Romans were here in Leiden. That's a long, long time ago.
Yeah.
But they made this way, they constructed this way to have their soldiers march from Leiden to Valkenburg.
Lugdunum Batavorum.
Right,
Yeah.
those days.
And Marlijn, can we show the?
Yes.
the reconstruction at the moment? Can we show the reconstruction now? Because I think it's really interesting to see. And another reason why I think it would be is very nice to have the City Hall here. Imagine living somewhere for 12 years, right? If I live somewhere for 12 years, I'm bound to be influenced by that place. And so I think also the Pilgrims were in some way influenced by what they encountered in Leiden. And one of these things was a legal innovation called civil marriage, right?
Yeah, right.
So what was the deal with that? You could marry in front of the magistrate. So not
Yes.
only in front of the church, but also for the magistrate. You get married.
Right. In the 17th century, not everybody belonged to the Reformed Church, to the Protestant Church. So more than half of the population in our country had the Catholic religion or another religion. They also had to be married. So that's why we invented the civil marriage. And that is what the Pilgrims also experienced during their stay here in Leiden. So when they married at the town hall. And we have an example of a brother and a sister called Isaac Ellerton
and Sarah Ellerton.
Ellerton.
Yeah.
Brother and sister, both marrying on the same day.
Yeah, with somebody else. That's just to get it clear. Yeah, okay.
And well, so they were influenced by it, as you say, and they brought it with them, of course, to Plymouth.
Yeah.
Because in the first year that they lived in Plymouth, they didn't have a
Well, of course. I mean, I can imagine
priest.
for people who get persecuted by church and state, it was a new. This civil right was incredibly handy because it kind of protected you, of course.
Yeah.
And so it is my understanding. Jeremy once told me this, Jeremy Banks, that they took it, wrote it into the Mayflower Compact, in the Boston Constitution, and ultimately it's one of the cornerstones of American democracy, the separation of church and state, which all began here at City
Leiden,
Hall.
right where we're standing now. And of course, it's the City Hall as well, the town hall, that gave them permission to stay. But that's
Also
the
to stay.
document, perhaps it's shown later at
when we
the
go to
archive.
Heritage Leiden, I'm sure we'll visit the document.